Hey folks, this is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. And today I have a guest on this show. Man, y'all don't know how far we go back, what we've done together, what we've done separately. But between the two of us, we made a lot of things happen in Compton. My guest on my left today he has so many names that it's ridiculous. They call him the gangster mayor. They called him the king of Compton. I called him Big O. The former mayor of Compton, Mr. Omar Bradley. What's up with you, Doc?
Hey, good to see you again, brother Lonzo.
Man, I'm glad to have you on the show today, man. It's cool to be able to talk to somebody who was there, who's done things. You know what I'm saying? You are a OG in politics in Compton. You're an OG in the streets. You're a fellow Apache like myself. Believe it or not, he bigger than me, but I'm older than his ass.
Barely.
He bigger than me, but I'm older than he is. Man, you know what I'm finding is these youngsters want to know about back in the day. Now you had a relationship with Eazy E, a big boy, Suge,
you name them,
Tupac, everybody.
Right.
You were the mayor of Compton when Compton was in his gangster rap heyday. Tell me about that, man.
Well, I don't want you to leave out Quick.
Quick, okay, yes, our boy. Okay, Cube. My bad. Cube. You the only one that I've ever seen, this true story, had Centennial's Gym packed. DJ Quick doing a show at Centennial's Gym. You put that together. Yes. Okay, who was on that show?
DJ Quick, Second to None, High C, Cam came out. Centennial had come up short on the money to pay for the yearbook.
Okay. So
I just asked Quick to do a concert. We raised $30,000 in about 3 hours.
Wow. I came through that day. That was really an interesting show, man. Yeah. Now, you've been, when Compton first became the rap capital of the West Coast, you were in the head seat at the city of Compton. How did that affect you? How did you feel about that? You know, when that first came out, that Compton was going to be this gangster rap city and you the mayor.
Well, it was duplicitous, meaning that there were two kinds of feelings. Number one, I knew a lot of these youngsters. I think I met Quick one day at my nephew's house, Face.
Okay.
And Face told me, Uncle, Quick is going to be bigger than Eazy E. And he was on a bicycle, believe it or not. But he just kept saying, listen, you're going to hear from me.
Okay.
Right? So I understood that rap had become something that young people wanted to do, like you and I grew up wanting to box or play basketball, play football. And so we knew it was not going to be a stopping to it. It was going to be an industry that young blacks could get into and they could make money. The other side of it was that the messaging that came with the rap music, in my opinion, accelerated what was already going on. I'm not blaming gang banging on rap.
Okay.
I'm not blaming selling cocaine on rap.
Okay.
But rap was the soundtrack to gang banging, selling dope, pimping, the mistreatment of African American females. And none of those things did I really agree with. Now, I understood them all, and I understand they all happened, and I understand why they happened.
Okay.
And I know everybody that's in the game, even if you're winning, you're still a victim. But the bottom line is, you know, there was some pushback from me in terms of some of the lyrics and some of the things that the brothers were saying, especially about females.
Okay. One situation I remember very vividly was Eazy E wanted to do a video in the city of Compton. And Jerry Heller called me up. He says, hey, man, I want to do a video in Compton, but Omar won't let me do it. Ain't that your buddy? Go talk to him. I made a phone call to you. You set me down. We had a meeting, and you explained to me what happened. And in that meeting, you said you want to talk to Eazy. You didn't want to talk to nobody but Eazy. And we made that happen. That was a 3-hour conversation with you and Eazy. What happened in that conversation, man?
Well, first of all, I read the script for Compton City G's.
Okay.
And the entire script was derogatory as it relates to Dre.
Okay.
And I had met Dre. I never really got to know Dre well.
Okay.
Dre was always up under Suge's arm, and very rarely back in those days did Dre really get a chance to speak for himself. Suge would do all the talking, which was no problem because, you know, I had no fear of him. And the other part of the script was that they wanted, and it literally said, we want to show black bitches in wet t-shirts shaking their ass. And my problem was I don't know any black bitches.
Okay.
I know black women. And I think there are far more things that I can depict a black woman doing than shaking her ass in a wet t-shirt.
Okay.
More importantly, there were a lot of references to Compton in the video, and I did not want the name of Compton affiliated with those derogatory images of black women. So I told Eazy, you can't do it until you change the script. You got to take bitch and hoe and all that stuff out. And if you're going to talk about Dre, I would prefer that you really not use that brother's name or use his likeness in the video. Not because I was defending Dre,
okay, but
I'm defending the notion that black men can't attack black men. And promotion of black men attacking black men only creates more atmosphere and opportunity for black men to do the same. And of course, you know, as time went on, a lot of these rappers lost their lives.
Right.
Because of this notion that I can't get big unless I'm standing on you.
Right.
Or stepping on you. I mean, I could be big independently. I could be somebody independently. I don't have to stand on you to get taller.
Right. Now, out of that, also, we ended up having to do a public service announcement. Remember that? The fire department.
Yes.
And that was the craziest thing.
Let me tell you specifically, because I don't think I may have missed the point that you wanted me to get to.
Go ahead.
The question. We actually met with Eazy for 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours?
In my office. It was so long that I had to order food twice.
Wow.
And what came from it was Eazy E made a commitment of $10 million to build a massive studio at Compton College. In exchange, we were going to name the street that led into Compton College Eazy Street.
No shit.
And the album that he was going to do before his death was Yellow Brick Road to Compton, which was going to be an album cover that had a gold street that led to Compton College.
Okay.
Because what people did not know about Eazy was that once you got him off the microphone, he was a very smart man. Yep. And he had opinions about what should happen to young black people. He also had opinions about what he was doing, and he had fears that what he was doing, the kind of music that he was making, might have had a detrimental impact. But he was making money, and he had contracts, and he had people who were employed through this device. So he was conflicted. And I kind of got him to say, listen, you know, but what about your soul? See, they don't spend money where dead people go.
Money don't need, don't.
You know, the only thing you have is your reputation, your life, what you set down.
Right.
And so we made that agreement. And the next thing you know, I got a phone call from Shaheed Muhammad telling me Eazy wants to see me. He's dying. That must have been maybe about 5 to 6 months later. And it was, of course, a shock. And I have to apologize to Eazy's family because I just could not bring myself to go to the hospital. It wasn't that I didn't want to see Eazy, but the hurt that I was feeling because I could see it coming.
Why you say that?
It's like some of the things that I say on Facebook or I say on television, and people think it's outlandish. I had a really, really solid father. Okay. My father's name was Henry Bradley. He was a great man. He died owning 6 or 7 homes, but he never had more than a 3rd grade education. He owned a business. He migrated here from the South. And all of his knowledge came from experience. Okay. And he used to tell me that no matter what train you own, if you're on the same track, you may get there at different times, but you're going the same place. Now, if you're on a track that's leading to destruction, amen, you're on a track that's leading to catastrophe. I don't have to wait till you get where you're going to tell you where you're headed, right? And so I had told Eazy, on television. Your brain is so sharp, you may be the man who could have cured AIDS, but Eazy, if you don't turn around, you're going to succumb to it. That's a natural fact. And of course, I should have gone to see Eazy, no matter how conflicted that I was, because his request was that I eulogize him. And I did speak over him.
Right.
I didn't eulogize him, but I did speak over him. And I made the date of his death Eazy E Day in Compton, because whether the thing that he started was good or bad, it was definitely great. Great does not necessarily mean good or bad.
Okay.
Great has to do with the impact of the particular thing you create or the particular thing that you control. What level of impact does it have on the world? People always think that the best read book in the world is the Bible, and it's not.
What is?
The best read book in the world is Hitler's book, Mein Kampf. And I don't, you could think Hitler's good or bad. I don't think he was a good person. But I know that his book must be great, because guess what? It's been read all over the world. It's one of the most it is the most read book in modern times.
Past the Bible.
Period. In modern times.
Okay.
Because the Bible didn't exist as the Bible in the time that it was written. Most people don't understand that. I mean, most people don't know that Moses never read the Bible.
Okay.
People don't understand that Joshua never read the Bible. Jesus never read the Bible. There was no Bible then. But the bottom line is, for the time in which Mein Kampf was written, right? And the times we live in now, people all over the world read that book, and they're still reading it. I'm not justifying, for my Jewish friends, I'm not justifying Hitler. Or anything he did, it was an atrocity.
Okay.
But the impact that that man had was great. And the impact that Eazy E had was great, because for 12 to 15 years, everything that came out after Eazy E and N.W.A. emulated Eazy E and N.W.A.
Right. Now, also, I remember one day I'm riding down Central Avenue, and I saw you and Suge rolling down the street, looking like y'all look like twins. Okay, both of y'all big. How was you and Suge's relationship?
At first, it was really good. Because I could be a big brother to Suge.
Okay.
People don't really understand my relationship to Hollywood. A lot of actors and actresses would come to me and ask me, what do you think? Because at 31 years old, I was running the 9th largest city in California.
Okay.
And you just don't do that. You have to have something.
Awesome.
I'm not saying it was innately me.
Okay.
I say all the time that whatever I had, it was all glory be to God. It was his. And one day he's going to come take it back and give it to somebody else if he hasn't taken it already. But I had something where I could talk to younger people and say, look, I got 663 people as employees that depend on my acts and my activities. Right. There's some responsibilities in what I do, and there's responsibilities in what you do. There's a responsibility to be Faison Love. Because people watch you and emulate you.
Is he from Compton?
He's from San Diego.
Okay.
But I had to, I was called in by a network, and they asked me to work with Faison. Don King asked me to work with Mike Tyson. So I was working with Suge.
Okay.
And one of the things I wanted to impress on Suge was that, most real gangsters, nobody know them. I mean, if you really want to be a gangster, you got to dress up in a suit and look like you're not a gangster. If you walk around with a gangster badge on and a gangster sign on, you're not going to make it, because they got things for gangsters.
Right.
They usually put gangsters in prison, or they put them in the electric chair. They take all their property and they sell it. So maybe you need to back up off of that for a minute. I think at a certain point, and when Suge says that C. Dolores Tucker and others were taking death row, I was there in the meeting.
They were trying to take death row? What do you mean?
They definitely were going to take it completely, and they certainly got his distribution rights canceled with Time Warner,
right?
Because they told me they were going to do it. They told him they were going to do it, but I had stopped them in that process, in that meeting. And I said, hey, look here, this is a young black man. We don't need to destroy him. We need to grow him.
Okay.
We need to talk to him about what the words that his artists are saying mean in terms of the future, in terms of what the next rapper is going to say, because each rapper has to become more and more grimy in order to be more unique.
Right.
So we go from bitch better have my money to just bitch. You understand what I'm saying?
Got you 110.
See, if you say that to my daughter, I'm coming out the house on you.
See?
Feel me?
They don't understand that shit. Okay? A lot of cats don't understand that shit. You know, you get away with a lot of stuff. Ain't no daddy around. Okay?
Absolutely.
Let a daddy or loving uncle be around. You got something to deal with now.
Right.
Okay? You got something to deal with.
And then not just having to deal with me personally, but one of the things my father used to say to me about my wife was this. He would, if I start talking crazy to my wife, he would say, you know, I hope one of my son-in-laws talk to my daughter like that. I hope you're around so you can see what I do. And don't forget, she has a father.
Right.
He feels like I feel about my daughter.
Okay.
Right? So it is our relationships with each other that kind of make us who we are and create the culture that we live in. Right?
Right.
So I always tell this story. My daughter's first date, she was 16. Cat comes over in a 63 Chevy. It was purple with white interior. So I saw E Grape Street, you know, because she's going to school in Watts. And he got his homie with him. Now that's strike one. But strike two is you pull up in my driveway.
Oh, nigga, don't pull up my driveway.
You can't pull in my driveway.
No.
I can't pull in my wife's father's driveway.
No.
You know, the old folks, if you pull in a driveway,
that's disrespectful.
Right? That's disrespect.
Damn
that's
right.
not your place to park.
Right.
Then he blows the horn.
Oh.
Well, now you about to get struck out, right? Then when my daughter goes outside, he got it's a two-seater. I mean, a four-seater, but a two-door. So he pulls the bucket seat up and tell her to get in the back. That's when Pop's coming outside. See, I know this is not going to end well.
Right.
So I'm not even going to let it start.
Right.
Get out the car and, hey, homie, don't you ever come to my house again because you've done too much for me to even start explaining to you.
You don't even know how to, right.
You are.
You so far in the hole, I can't bring you out because you just too far in the hole.
I might fall in trying to get down there and get you.
Thank you.
So we had the same problem with rap. And then what happened with rap is people don't even understand the definition of rap. You can go to your dictionary right now, and the word rap in the dictionary means to take the blame. So if I'm the American government and I determine I'm going to make money for drugs that's coming out of Nicaragua so I can sell arms in the Middle East, somebody got to get blamed for it, right?
Right. Might got to take the rap.
I create this group of young blacks. I put this image on them and watch this. Other young blacks emulate that image. They play that music. They rap that music. That music is coming out your car, and guess what? When you get to court, you have taken on the image of one who is going to and is designed to take the blame. Literally, number 2 in Webster's. After to take the blame, to take the fall. So you got hundreds of thousands of black men who went to the pen in their 20s. They now in their 50s and their 60s. And what did they have? They was just taking an ounce or a pound or what have you from here to there. They didn't even own the dope.
Right. They just transport.
They just transporting and they ain't getting out. And Lord have mercy, if it was already rocked up, they gone. Feel me? So we have to be, as a people, wise. And so, man, I love a good beat like anybody else. You feel me? I love a good beat like anybody else.
They call the Pied Pipers to get the rats out the city.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
They call the Pied Piper, and they want to get the rats out the city. They call the Pied Piper.
And in order for you not to follow that music, listen, you must have a transfusion of your mentality. We got to get you out of the mentality that the major culture is trying to put you into and make you emulate. And you're going to have some brothers that are saying, look, man, no, you can't do that, brother.
Now, Omar, you're a man of the world. Have you ever known a white dope dealer that have reached the status of some of our black dope dealers in the hood? Have you ever heard the name or seen them be glorified and just put on a pedestal like so many of our
only as TV characters?
Okay, I tell people all the time. I say, I watch American Gangster. I watch all, but ain't none of them ever been white. They got all the black dope dealers, the black dope dealing gangs, the black dope, the kingpins. Everybody is there to be seen, to be idolized and emulated by the next generation. But you never see the white one. Okay. Now you know damn well we don't own no ships, we don't own no containers, we don't own none of the mechanism to bring it over here. But when it gets here, it's all about us. Okay.
Absolutely.
And for some reason we fall for that trap all the time. And I tell cats over and over again, understand, man, it's what it is. It's a trap. And if you fall for it, I can't help you.
Well, we are a people in search of an identity. Every identity we've ever tried, none of them work. We started off here as slaves.
Okay, that wasn't
then
working.
we became niggas.
That wasn't
then
working.
We became Negroes.
That wasn't
then we became coloreds. Then we became African Americans. And now we don't know who we are because guess what? Every leader of every one of the groups that they've given to us, I don't care what group it is, he's dead or he's in prison. So what happens to the generation that's coming up, they say, well, look, man, I don't want to be Malcolm because he got shot. I don't want to be Martin because he got shot. I don't want to be Tupac because he got shot. I don't want to be Biggie because he got shot. And at some point in our lives, we got to start saying some of these identities that are painted on us, we got to figure out where they're coming from, who's making the real money off of
right.
it, and then determine what identity we will become in order to be successful. So let me just give you an example. If you go to Gardena, you are starting to see Asian people flourishing.
Right.
But you never see Asian people on TV promoting their products.
Never thought about that.
They would rather get a white man and let him promote their products.
Okay.
Because they're not there for fame. They're there for power. They're there to control their community.
Right.
They're there to make sure that when their kids go to school, there's books, there's paper, there's pencil, there's security. There are no fools at their schools. Everybody gonna do what they told, and you're not gonna be there.
Right.
And you don't need a whole bunch of Hollywood type productions in order to have power, in order to take care of your community. So the identity we got to start taking on is an identity that is geared towards power, financial prosperity. What does that mean? I mean, I remember when Suge shot Latasha Harless.
Right.
It wasn't a 20,000 Asians in the street marching for Suge.
No.
They just had enough money to buy the judge, or to buy the courthouse, or to buy the jewelry, or if necessary, to buy the system. Do you understand what I'm saying?
She didn't do a day in jail.
Not a day. And even if you protest the judge, you're not really protesting the problem, because the problem is that there is a system in place that fails us every single time. I mean, every single time the system fails us.
We don't participate in the system, though. So how do we get more brothers and sisters to participate in the system so that we can have some type of say, some way, form, of fashion?
Well, I was watching one of your podcasts and you was putting some history down, and then somebody commented, man, the cats on that podcast are too old. See, that's ignorance.
That's stupid.
That's ignorance. You understand? You think because we already been there that we can't tell you where it's at.
You don't get old being no fool.
I mean, I know where it is because I've been there.
Right.
There's nothing that you know now that I don't already know, but there's some things that I know you don't know because you haven't been there.
Well, you know what? I got to say this right now on your behalf, okay? You grew up around the corner from Pyru.
Yes.
You grew up with the old Shit,
Yes, I
Pyro
did.
Boys putting damn, come on, Little Vince, all
Puddin',
of
Tam, Low,
all of
Naughty,
them
Sugar Man,
Dishonest
John,
before people went to the
Crazy
penitentiary.
James.
Okay,
The
these
real
guys
wild dudes.
were the reason why there is a Pyro in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, your brother Wayne, your older brother Henry, you have a very enriched history in that lifestyle from a distance and up close and personal.
Right.
Okay. You saw, like I did at an early age, I got to find a way to navigate this shit. Okay. I can't get away from it, but I can't get in it too deep because ain't no win. Okay. Mm-hmm. How did you do that?
One thing I knew about Pyro was that it came with a code.
Okay.
So I learned not to operate outside the code of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Therefore, I had no problem from the cats in the neighborhood. Okay. I knew what the code was.
Okay.
Every Pyro boy, you got a code book to operate, and it's real simple. Don't leave your friend behind in a fight. Mm-hmm. Don't run from anybody.
Okay.
Always be honorable. In other words, I'm not going to hit you until you hit me.
Okay.
You swing on me, I'm going to try to knock you out.
Okay.
And so I understood that code. I operated within it. Now, when I got outside the neighborhood and I'm in Crip neighborhoods, I realized that they got their own codes.
Okay.
And I'm going to not be in violation of your code. If I'm in Tragnew, if I'm in Nutty Block, if I'm in Carver Park, if I'm in Front Hood, if I'm in South Side, if I'm in Insane, wherever I am, I'm respect your code, your neighborhood. I'm not going to try to violate in your neighborhood. So the key to me being able to come up and be a mayor was that I respected everybody and I respected what their understanding was at the time. Okay. And I know that people's understanding are not going to do anything but grow.
Okay.
So as the mayor, I have literally said, hey, bruh, cats that was Crips that I knew in the day, and we, couldn't be in the same ice cream parlor together because he knew I lived in Pyro, whether I'm claiming or whether I'm ruined or not. Back in those days, it didn't make no difference.
Guilt by association.
He's the head of one of them Pyro. Yeah, well, okay, whatever, brother. I got 3.9 GPA, but that didn't matter. So I knew that the cat that I met in 1989 is not the cat I'm dealing with in 1999. Okay, he might have got a girl pregnant in 89, but in 1999, he got a 10-year-old kid.
Right.
Got to buy books, got to have a backpack. So, brother, you need a job. Let me help you take care of your family, bro, because who you used to be is not who you're going to be.
Right.
And if you can look at every human being and see their potential for growth, the potential to manifest into the adult person that God is calling them to become, if you could see that in them, then you can make friends with anybody.
Now, Omar, why do you think youngsters think we stupid? Because, and I know even back in the day, we thought our moms and dad wasn't as smart, as slick as we was, but you would think that youngsters would gravitate to people with some experience to stop making the same mistakes over and over again. And the game don't change, it just went digital. That's all. The game ain't changed. It just went digital. So what do you think? Why do you think it's so difficult for them to accept stories, advice, experience from brothers like us? Meanwhile, they catching hell that we caught from another level. Police been kicking niggas in the ass for years. This ain't nothing new. Y'all just got it on film. Okay.
Here's what it is. Youth, a wise man said, is wasted
on the youth, on the young.
On the young.
Yeah.
You got the vigor, you got the stamina, but you don't have the experience. And so the lack of experience, the lack of knowing that somebody older than you knows more than you is the very symptom of being young that you can't overcome.
Okay.
In order to be able to overcome that, you got to be wise at a young age. Now, I got to say this. All of my friends that I ran the streets with, they were my age.
Okay.
But the cats that I listened to were 10 and 15 years older than me.
Yes.
Right?
I got you.
And
same here.
I understood that they knew things that I did not know.
Right.
And those have been the things that have saved my life. I give you an example. Man, I've never been a criminal. People want to make me one. I mean, you know, you have never even read the case.
Okay.
You read the Times, you didn't read the case. You saw Channel 5, Channel 9, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 11, Channel 13 saying, I spent $2,700 at the Luxor Hotel of the city's money. What you never came to court to see was the manager of the Luxor Hotel pointed me and said, that man ain't the one that was in that room. But I was still found guilty. Okay. So your miseducation and your misunderstanding and your inability to study, because you don't have time to study. You want to make me a crook and you don't even know the case.
Okay.
Okay. And you don't have the time because what is it? Monday? Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, you just got through partying all weekend. You ain't, right. But you will get on the internet and say Omar stole all the money from the city. Right. Right. When you don't even know how much money they say I misspent.
$2,700 in all.
Right, $2,700.
If the city only got $2,700, we in trouble.
And I left them with $62 million in surplus. Wow. And now they're $49 million in deficit. So when you put 62 with 49, you get 109. So it's $109 million missing. But it didn't come up missing under me. Feel me? When I left there, it was $62 million in the bank. So the point I'm trying to make to you is this. You cannot just jump out on what you are fed by people you don't know in systems designed to destroy you and keep you a slave, repeat that stuff and think because you know it verbatim that you know what's going on. What's going on will shock you. So my father, going back to the wisdom of the ages and how I learned how to listen. My father used to say little smart little things. He would never really just break it down. But when he saw me do something foolish, he would say, when it hits you, you'll holler. And sometimes when I'm out in the world and something I did 30 years ago, catch up with me, I go, ow, daddy. Because now I understand that when I lied to you and I told you I was at the show and I was at the motel with my girlfriend, when I lied to you and told you I was at the after prom and I was really sitting out in the car with my woman doing something terrible, and now I got like kids and grandkids and great-grandkids on things I thought was just a joke, you understand? Right. I wanted to be in with the in crowd. I mean, everybody want to know, did you do something? Did you get something for the prom, dog? You want to be able to say, yeah.
You want to tell that story.
But how do you know that's the woman God wanted you to be with? Right. How do you know that's the family God wants you to have? How do you know that's the neighborhood God wanted you to end up at? You might have been a PhD, a scientist, but what happened was when mom and daddy told you, look here, be home by 2:30, you got a plan. Look, I'm going to tell them I had a flat tire. And so when you tell your daddy and your mama you had a flat tire prom night and they done already went outside and checked the tires and made sure the car got oil in it and gas and took it to the mechanic because they don't want you driving it anyway. But if you're going to drive it, they're going to make sure you get back, right? They know you lying. And because you lie and because you aren't truthful with your parents and aren't truthful with the elders, then the only thing they can do is wait for the calamity to come. And when it comes, all you can do is holler.
I didn't see it myself, but I heard at one point in time, right during the crack era, there was a train left on the tracks. It was unlocked, and in that train was a lot of guns.
Full of guns.
Okay. I tell this story, and I've heard this dozens of times. And I tell people, I said, you know, there's a legend of this train that was left on the tracks in Compton with guns in it. Okay, and they forgot to leave the bullets. Okay, and then my cousin, we were laughing about it. She said, Lonzo, there was a van full of bullets on my street. Okay, she lived over there off of Compton Boulevard, and I forgot the name of the street, but she said there was a van unlocked and somebody eventually broke into it, found to see what was in there, bullets. Now, when I see that and I hear her, first of all, you know that to be true. Okay? When I tell people those stories, they say, oh man, you lying. No, a lot of what you're seeing in the streets is somebody else's plan being manifested. Okay? They put the crack in there. We already got gangs. Up until the time we had gangs was basically territorial until we got crack. Then when crack came around, it added a different type of money became the motivation. Now you got the guns, the whole 9 yards.
Hood territory. Dope territory.
Right, exactly. Now it's money's involved and folks got vicious. Okay. You was the mayor at the time when all this was going down. At one point in time, I got to ask you this question because you talked about it on Facebook. You brought the sheriff in. How do you feel about that decision right now? Do you still feel the same way about that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And what made you bring the sheriff in the first place?
Well, let me tell you something. There's a certain principle that I operate with.
Okay.
And look, boy, I was talking about it today with my brother. When you're a black man, and listen, this is a word that I don't want all y'all using. Black man. Some of you black males,
okay,
but you're not black men. A black man is a rare thing to find nowadays. Feel me? Black men, when they see an old lady crossing from the store to the parking lot and you driving, you put your brakes on. Black men see crippled people trying to get their groceries into the car. You stop, you park your car and say, may I help you? Black men will get out of line and let somebody who's behind them, who is infirm, get in front of them. Because you are the lion of the race. You're supposed to defend and protect the race. You're supposed to be there for the race, not be a vulture on the race. So when you got black cops that's involved with selling dope in the hood and fixing and throwing murder cases, when you got 98 kilos of cocaine that you can't account for in the evidence locker, when it's 15 pounds of weed that you just busted and it's gone, when it's 480 gallons of PCP missing, I don't need to have a long conversation with you, black man. You betraying your race. Now, I ain't talking about a mistake. People make mistakes all the time.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
But you betraying the race. If you black, you a cop and you in that kind of mess. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't be a cop. Not that I couldn't be a policeman.
Right.
But if I catch a white man who's a cop beating somebody black and they don't deserve it, shooting or putting your knee on somebody that's black, I'm going to deal with you right now on the streets, and we're going to have to go to court to find out who was right.
Okay.
There ain't nowhere in the world I could have been in a platoon with the cats that killed George Floyd. Matter of fact, I didn't even need to be a cop. If I saw what I saw on that television, cracking off, and I'm just a black man walking down the street, I ain't talking about no black male. Too many of y'all black males, but you ain't black men. Man, I'm body shotting all three of them cops. And let's see what happened. Because you can't tell me that you can see an innocent man who's black getting his life taken from him, and somewhere in your black man heart, you don't get the urge to take off. Just get down, see what happened. And then all this mess about, well, you know, we got to respect the police. Them wasn't police officers. The moment you put your knee in that man's neck, you ain't no cop no more. You know what you are? You the enemy. Because that could have been my neck. Could have been my son's neck, my grandson's neck. And see, this is why they don't want me elected no more. Ever again. Boy, they change the law.
Every time you get a chance to run, they come up with some bullshit.
Because guess what? The man that I am sitting here now is the man that I was then. I got to always think that George Floyd could have been my son. He could have been my grandson.
And you can't sit there with a camera. I'm gonna record it, son. I got this.
I'm gonna tell on you, officer.
Negro, please.
The only thing that man would understand was 2 good lefts and a right and a hook to his head. But in my case, since I'm 300 pounds, I'm gonna get a good head start. And I'm gonna take my forearm across his teeth. Because it's nowhere in the world you can kick back and say, well, we got to respect the police. You stop being the police when you stop doing what police are supposed to do. Just because you got a badge and a uniform on, that don't give you no right to take somebody's life or to act a fool. And so when black men, the Compton PD, listen, and it wasn't all of them, I want to be clear. It wasn't all of them. And it was certainly wasn't, like there was some cool Compton PDs that was white. And it was cool Compton PDs that was Mexicans. And cool Compton PDs that was Oriental.
Did you have any regrets bringing the sheriff in? I saw a Facebook post you were talking about the sheriff, and that's what made me ask that question. Now, can you kind of summarize that Facebook post?
Well, the point I was trying to make was this. You know, not all the Compton PDs were bad, but the ones that were in there, they were not doing right.
Okay.
When the other ones wouldn't give them up and get rid of them, then they all had to go. Okay. And here's the thing. I don't have to shoot you with a whole bunch of poison to kill you. There's certain doses of poison that enough is enough. I don't have to throw a jug of poison down your throat.
Okay.
All I got to do is hit you with certain CCs. And we had a few CCs at Compton PD that was poison. And it was keeping the community off balance. I mean, how you gonna bust a dope man and you slinging dope? You know, how you gonna stop gang banging and, you know, it's Compton PD's throwing up that Crip thing. And so, and this is reality. It's Compton PD's should tie blue rags on their antennas.
It happened to me at English Square. We did a dance at English Square, and the fight broke out. We had to call Compton PD, and the lady who was managing that night was talking to the PD, and I heard the cop say, "Y'all give these slobs about 15 minutes, so get this shit up out of here, and we gonna leave." Okay.
Correct.
I ain't never been a gangbanger in my life, but he called us slobs. Let these slobs do their thing and get out of here for y'all, you know, finish, get back to business. They waited for us in Wilson Park. We shot down the side street, got the fuck up out of there.
I mean, it was, and see, you know, for me, because my heart, I love black people. I love brown people. I love white people. I love all people. But I love black people. And burying 12 and 16 and 13-year-old and 6-year-old black kids who are getting shot down in the street by other black people, gang banging, you know, mistaken identities, poor shots. Man, I wasn't gonna live with that as the mayor.
You used to go to all the funerals.
I went to every murder scene there was, and I went to the funerals, and some of the funerals I paid for. And I had my kids literally say to me on a couple of occasions, "You love these people more than you love us." No, I don't. I love these people because I love you. You taught me how to love. You know, my son, you taught me what it feels like to have a son and to even dream about losing it, what it would feel like. I want to share a story with you. This is a story that it's very hard for me to tell without crying. One night, it was maybe about 3 o'clock in the morning, my public relations man called me and he said, "Hey man, you know, there's been a triple homicide." And it was in Tragnew Park. He said, "The father of this one girl says he is not going to bed until he looks in your eyes." So how am I going to not go? So I put my clothes on, jumped in my car, I went over there. And I never forget this. This man walked off the porch. And he said, "Mr. Mayor, I wanted to tell you something. I want you to hear this from my mouth." I said, "Okay." He said, "My daughters were going skating, and the car that was picking them up pulled in the driveway. And somebody drove by and shot all 3 of these girls and killed them. When I ran outside, my daughter was laying in the gutter. And when I picked up in my arms, she opened her eyes for just a brief second and said, 'Daddy, why?' And she died. And nothing in the world struck me like that moment. I've never forgotten it because I had a 16-year-old daughter at the time. And that same night, early in the morning, there was a retaliation hit on South Side. And course, my public relations said, man, you're not going to believe this. I said, just give me the address. So I went to this apartment, and when I walked inside, of course, the police are there. And one of my students, who from the time when she was maybe about 17 to even now, she had taken on the role of her own mother because her mother had cut out. And when she saw me, she said, Mr. Bradley, somebody just killed my baby. Well, I knew she didn't have any babies. I knew she was talking about her sister. And so that night, 5 black babies, 5 black girls died over some silliness, over some sets, over the color of a rag. These people are gone. And for a police department not to be taking that as serious as I was taking it, if you're not taking it serious as I'm taking it, then you don't need to be here. Now, let's talk about the sheriffs. They wasn't gangbanging when I was the mayor. You didn't have any, what are they called, banditos or whatever they are, executioners.
Yeah.
And Ben, let me tell you why. Because they'd have been gone too. You understand? Because when God puts you in a position of authority and he gives you power, he expects you to execute it justly and with precision. And sometimes when you pray for something, when it shows up, it doesn't look like what you asked for. I know I don't look like what you want. I'm not soft. I don't speak the King's English as you would like me to, even though I have a master's degree and can quote Shakespeare until you get sleepy. But when I showed up on the scene of something, everybody knows it's time to get busy because I'm not playing. I took the lives of those people seriously. I took the lives of your children seriously. I took the lives of your neighbors seriously. That's why I came and showed my face every single time so the cops and the firefighters and the paramedics would know this man is serious about these people. God sent him to be serious about their lives. So yeah, if you got to give me a case for me to get rid of you, use your judges and your prosecutors to put me in the pen because I got rid of you, then I was prepared to do that because God gave me that assignment. And then the question you got to ask is, okay, so they replaced me, the so-called gangster, with a DA. How did things go? And then the question you got to ask is, okay, so they replaced me, the so-called gangster, with a DA. How did things go? Did it get better for you? Did your streets start getting messed up? You want to know why your streets wasn't messed up with me? Because I'd go to the city yard and kick the barbecue pit over when the guys that are supposed to be fixing your streets is having a ham or a turkey or some collard greens. That's not what you was paying them for. You was paying them to fix the streets. And as black people, we have to always be mindful. Always be mindful that the world watches us. And they say, see, look at these Negroes. They got their own city and it's messed up, full of dope, full of prostitutes, full of this and that. Listen, man, being black is the hardest job in the world because you're guilty before you even get tried. You got 400 years of being abused to rely on to understand who you are when you walk into the courtroom. So I knew the moment they indicted me, I was going to the pen. And guess what? When I got to the pen, everybody in the pen said, yeah, man, we knew you was coming. Feel me? Whether you did it or not, because once they get you down there, you're going to the pen. Unless you snitching. And I ain't going to do that. Second, I ain't had nobody to tell on. because everybody on my council was honest. But the bottom line is they told you we was gangsters and you believed it. I had this one lady come to my house from that last interview.
Okay.
Sat down with me for 2 hours, heard the whole story. I said, listen, and I would really prefer that you not refer to me as a gangster. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm glad you gave me the whole background on what happened. When the thing came on, she told the story. She said, and Omar Bradley, also known as a gangster, mayor. Because this is what they got to make of us. They got to make you a gangster. How else can they destroy you? And what the sad part is, people like that look like me believe it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out today and coming out and kicking it with me like this today and sharing your story, sharing the history. Man, I got to say one more thing before I get out of here. I remember when you were the mayor of Compton, we had festivals, we had concerts, City Hall, Compton College. We had, Compton felt progressive, okay? All of a sudden, like somebody threw it in park, reverse, slammed on emergency brakes. And as I travel, because I'm all around. I go to Paramount, I go to Carson, and it seems like of all the cities in this area, Compton is the only one that's still like stuck in a time warp or it goes backwards. And I can understand that, man. And Compton got money. Compton ain't broke. But Compton goes and is stagnant when it comes to its appearance. Can you explain that to me and folks watching this podcast?
How can I sell you empire if you don't think black men are rotten? How can I sell you power if you don't think black men are rotten? It is a market. It is a literal market to make black men rotten, especially black men who are in power positions. If you're in a power position, you're a black man, you got to be rotten, right?
Okay.
And then what happens is once they say, well, this is the image of a rotten black man. If you see a black man that looks like him, he's rotten.
Especially if he consider,
feel me?
If he in civil service, yeah.
So they can slide you anything other than what looks like me and what talks like me and what acts like me. They can tell you that it's black girl magic.
See.
But watch this though, Lonzo.
Go ahead.
It's been more black women since 1991 on the Compton City Council. It's been a majority of women since 1991. From 1991 to 2000 is 9 years. From 2000 to 2020 is 20 years. For 29 years, it's been a majority of black women on that council. Understand me. I don't know what this black girl magic thing is y'all dreaming of, and I don't know what this separation of the black female and your plight from my plight is. I know Martin Luther King never got up there and said, I'm marching for the plight of the black man. He was marching for black people. Malcolm was marching for black people. Medgar was fighting for black people, not black men. So you didn't drink somebody's Kool-Aid. They didn't stuck you on a couple of TV shows. They didn't set you in a couple of seats, and you didn't forgot that you couldn't be here unless some black man exploded from inside of himself and sent you into the universe of your mother. You was with us before you was ever with them. But you bought it. And even as the ship is sinking, you just love it because it looks like that which has been approved by white America. They talk so nice and they dress so nice and they act so nice and they never say anything out of line. Well, we'll have to investigate that. We're going to have to look into that. We're going to have something to say about that, but you never do anything. So when you get a man, and I ain't talking about a male, there's a whole bunch of males, black males in politics, but there ain't a whole bunch of black men in politics. You can include your old president in that one. When you don't get black men in politics, then you end up with what you end up with and you don't even recognize that's why you got it. You think I would let you drive down streets tearing up your tires, tearing up your cars? You think I would do that to you? I love you. I'm with you all the way.
It wasn't a problem beforehand, that's for sure.
If I got to get some gravel and get out there and do it myself. But you have this need for Tutti Frutti ice cream. And you just love all this sweet stuff. See? And then when you see, this is what's killing me, Lonzo, and I know this one's they're going to sell this to the news. You know, they got this new term. He's got toxic masculinity.
Right. What the fuck is that?
What you want me to be but my daddy's son? Man, you seen my son?
Yeah, look just like you.
Look just like me.
Look just like you.
Big,
this is
nasty, ready to go. Feel me? He tell you ain't got to lock my front door. Don't come in here. That's who your father was. Your fathers went to Germany, Japan, Vietnam. They fought, got down. They came home and they said, we ain't taking this mess no more. And then they raised sons who felt the same way. And since there was no theater but the theater of where we were alive and well and fighting for our freedom, they got down the same way. And until you start respecting us and knowing who we are, you're going to have trouble, boy. Because if you think you can send some of these TV icons to go deal with the rude, but what they call the Proud Boys and the militia and all that other stuff, you got another thing coming. I want to say this before I go.
Go for it.
You want to know why there ain't no black people at the Trump rally? Because he ain't talking to you. It ain't that you don't want to go. You know when you ain't been talked to. And then when you get a cat up there that say, well, it's good people on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I'm going to leave if it don't go my way, I'm going to stay. Right? Right. Now watch this. And you're getting a little nervous about what's going on in America. But you let them take all the real black men away. Oh, I can't stand his toxic masculinity. I wish the Proud Boys would come on Compton and Central Avenue. They know where to go. They know where to march and where to walk out with their AR-14s. They ain't coming nowhere near no real men. Not no real black men. Somebody will get a truck, a nice, them big rigs, and run it straight through all of them. And don't even care what happens. Just to send a message that my daughter, my wife, my sister, my people live around here, homie, don't come in violation. So this is the weirdest thing with who we've become as black people. We have gotten so soft, man.
Yeah, we have.
You turn the news on, you got soft cats. Well, they had this little slogan they kept on saying, these black people, the guy that ran for governor of Florida. What was it?
The one that got caught with the guy.
Well, bless his heart. Man, I ain't never told nobody bless your heart. I don't care nothing about that. I want to know why you here. What's your business and when you leaving? I want you around my family. I don't know you. And if you got a problem with me, we can handle these things. You know how we ain't got to keep having coming on TV. You understand? You black folks have forgotten who you are. You're running around here with your hair green and orange and purple. What's wrong with you? What didn't happen to you, man? I don't get it. You know, you're lost who you are. I mean, and I'm not telling you to go out and be violent or you gotta, but you just don't. What's going on? We watch these, we watch MSNBC, and if it's a good show, we think something's gonna change because they had a good TV show. You think because you see some people walking down the street marching with signs, or because they took some paint and wrote some yellow stuff on the street, that you have made a statement? In 1980, when I was graduating from college, they hung my friend Ron Settles. They put his eyeballs out of his head. They said he had PCP in his system. And this is a dude that wouldn't even walk in a room where there was a cigarette. Here in 2020, they doing the same thing, and y'all still walking around here marching. What is that? If you want to stop these folks, don't pay your taxes. Tell them, until you treat us better and give us, we ain't paying for no police service that don't work. We're not paying for no courthouses that don't work. We're not going to participate in a system that does not work for us justly and fairly. And this whole concept of having a more perfect union, it's been perfect for them. You've been in their neighborhood.
Look good.
It ain't perfect for you. And it's never going to get perfect for you until you realize one thing. This is the coolest thing you ever heard. Boston Tea Party, they didn't throw that tea in the ocean. You honestly think they went on 10 British ships, got all that tea and threw it in the water? They kept that tea, and those were your founding fathers. Those were the people that ended up becoming the legends that you listen to and you talk to. You learn about them in school. You know what they said? We mad as hell and we ain't taking it no more. And we can sum it up in one thing: by any means necessary. Understand? You fool for less, we ain't shopping here no more. You paying taxes, fool for less? You pay taxes to LA County? We ain't shopping here no more. You send me a tax bill, let 300,000 black people in LA County stop paying their taxes and see if they don't straighten the sheriff's out. I'm gonna pay for my own oppression. But you got some cowards sitting in those seats who won't tell you the truth, that the thing that runs the oil and oils the wheels of government is money. Ain't none of them cops coming to work if they don't get paid. That's their job. And when you stop paying your taxes and sending in a letter of protest to them, no, I'm not paying you another dime until you get these people out of our neighborhood. I guarantee you they'll be gone tomorrow. But they know you ain't serious. You turn on Kaepernick in what, 5 football games? We ain't watching football no more until they do Kaepernick right. Well, they didn't do it right. And y'all got your hats on, your 49ers, you're having parties, and the Rams is playing and can't wait for the stadium to open. What happened to that brother's principled stance? You were supposed to back him up. Now he out there on his own. And white America knows all they got to do is wait you out. All they got to do is put a good TV show on. All they got to do is, look what happened to Doc. Who? Doc, the Clippers, the coach.
Yeah.
He told them like it was, right? But he didn't win their championship. Where at now? And y'all will be buying Clipper tickets and watching Clipper games next year. So you got to have some some fortitude, intestinal fortitude. You got to know what this system operates on. You don't need no bullets. Put your money in your pocket and don't spend it. Then if you find a bank or anybody else that is supporting things that are hurting you, pull your money out of there and let them know why. As long as you supporting a clown that's supporting those clowns, we ain't fooling with you. That's it. What happened with the Compton PD was economic. I'm pulling your paycheck. You go be a police somewhere. I'm not saying you can't be the police. I'm saying you can't be the police here. I ain't saying you can't be the sheriff. You can go be a sheriff wherever you want to be the sheriff. But you can't be the sheriff here. And if you got some courage, Asia, that's what you'll tell them. Because you didn't call the FBI in. What's that? You call Jesse James on Billy the Kid?
Omar, never a dull moment, my brother, never a dull moment. I'm sitting here with my partner, my classmate, my homie, Omar Bradley, former mayor of the city of Compton, and he got a lot to say about a whole lot. He's been there. He's been to the mountaintop. He's been to the dungeon, okay? And Omar, once again, man, thank you for coming through. Much love to you. Love you too, man. Love you too. You always come through for me. We always come through for each other. Tell them about your project you got coming out, man.
Oh, I'm working on a film called Pyrogenesis. And what Pyrogenesis does is it looks at the first day that the Crips came to Centennial and jumped on some guys that just happened to live on a street called Pyro.
Now, Omar is one of the few people. I told you about the story about them coming over Vanguard. We had the archery class. Somebody was that you that knew that story? Because I told
the reason why I knew the story is I saw it go down.
Okay,
you were in the 8th grade. I was in the 7th grade.
Okay,
I was in Mr. Sweat's biology class.
Okay, that's
and
that's
when
right.
the Crips left Centennial. Mm-hmm. Now, these dudes that came to Centennial was like 17, 18, 19, 20, 22.
They whipped everybody's ass on one side of the school.
They jumped on Centennial, then they caught buses because they had stole buses. The Crips. Now, these Crips are not from Compton. They're not the Crips you thinking about if you from Compton. These cats went to Fremont. They stole buses, 2 of them, jumped on the cats at Centennial, then they came to Vanguard, okay? And they jumped on quite a few people from Vanguard. But when they got to the
other side, the 135th side,
when they got to the southern, the north, the east, southwest end of Vanguard, there was a archery class because Vanguard was like a college.
Yeah, Vanguard.
When you went to Vanguard, you had to cut frogs open and dissect them and pull their heart out, and put it back in. You know, when you went to Vanguard, they didn't play. Okay,
field goal cards.
Right, they was doing things, and they hopped the fence. And the archery class was out there.
I was out there
shooting targets, right? And I'm looking at them hopping the fence, and I see the archery class. We had an old teacher named Mr. Michel'le. He wasn't no joke. When Mr. Michel'le hit you, he killed some of your ancestors back in Africa. Amen. He didn't play. I never saw him have a happy moment in my life. Never saw him smile or crack a joke. He had 2 commands: bend over and touch the front of that desk.
Yeah. Then
he'd tear you up. What he told the archery class, he said, turn.
Yep.
And archery class turned their bows and arrows on them. Then he said, aim. And if they come any closer, fire.
Yep.
And
take the heat.
The Crips went on and hopped back over the fence.
They looked at us like we was goddamn Robin Hood. Okay?
But they came back though. Now I ain't gonna take nothing from them. They come back about 6 or 7 more times before they begin to understand that, man, we just not gonna let you jump on us. We don't care if you are old.
That's some true shit.
Got beards.
That's some true.
You know,
shit,
we was 7, 8. No, we were like 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
You know, and by the time we got to the 9th grade, they stopped coming because you know we had metal shop.
Right.
When you got kids that got metal shop, they know how to build things to stick you and hit you with them. But that's exactly what happened at Vanguard.
That's true. That's a true story, folks. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Omar, thank you.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Peace.
Much love, folks. Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast hip hop. Sitting here with my boy Omar Bradley, former mayor of City of Compton boy. Hey man, this man got more names and a whole lot of stuff. He got more names than weed, but it's all right with me. Much love, Doc. We out of here, folks. Peace.